Good morning and a warm welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Griha Atul. We begin with some breaking news at the top of 9 a.m. Let's take a look. We are learning of an Israeli strike on Hezbollah in Lebanon's Beirut. This is to target Hassan Nasrallah's presumed successor, Hashem Safieddine. Reports are suggesting that the funeral of the Hezbollah leader, Hassan Nasrallah, was to be held today, and Iran's foreign minister, Arghashi, is expected in Beirut as well for meetings today. And in the midst of those reports, there is this strike by Israel, and this was possibly to take out Hassan Nasrallah's presumed successor, Hashem Safieddine. And this is going to be a huge blow if at all the Israeli targets hit what they were expected to hit. Presumably, we do not really know for sure what really was the intended target, but we do know how Israel has vowed to, in fact, wipe out Hezbollah from Lebanon, and hence these increased amount of striking that southern Lebanon, especially Beirut, really is seeing. And this time around, we were learning that how today there was a funeral of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah that was supposed to be held. And for that very funeral and also some other meetings, Iran's foreign minister was also expected in Beirut today. Now, in the middle of all of that information, we are also learning of this Israeli strike. My colleague Siddhant has more details. Yes, Siddhant.
Well, that's right. It's again a major hit by Israel, but we are still awaiting official confirmation. But as per the reports, in fact, some of the leading publications in Middle East have come up with this story that Israeli strike on Hezbollah in Lebanon's Beirut targets Hassan Nasrallah's presumed successor, Hashem Safieddine. And in fact, Israeli media has also been reporting about it. We are still awaiting official response from IDF or Hezbollah. And also, reports suggest funeral of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah will be held today. Ali Khamenei will lead a special Friday prayers in commemoration of Hezbollah chief Nasrallah at the Imam Khamenei Mosque in Tehran. So amidst all this, the Israeli media is reporting that a target has been hit in Beirut, and in that operation, the presumed successor of Hassan Nasrallah, Hashem Safieddine, has been eliminated by Israeli forces. Now, we are still awaiting official response from the either side. But right now, this is what some of the leading publications in Middle East, including some leading newspapers in Israel, are reporting.
So we do not yet know whether Safieddine is alive or he in fact has been the target of these strikes by Israel. Siddhant, how soon can we expect a reaction from Hezbollah? Because at the time that the Hezbollah commander Nasrallah was eliminated by Israel airstrikes, there was an immediate release by Hezbollah. They had in fact seconded this entire thing that he in fact is no more. If at all this were to be true, that his intended successor has also been eliminated by Israeli airstrikes, how soon can we expect a response from Hezbollah?
Well, first we could expect IDF to come up with the official statement, because IDF does its own assessment after every strike or operation they do. So we could expect IDF first to come up with a statement confirming or denying the elimination of Hashem Safieddine. And once IDF will make it public, then we could expect some sort of a response from Lebanese authorities or Hezbollah. And in fact, at the time of Hassan Nasrallah's elimination also, it was IDF which confirmed it first, and I still remember very much that the Iranian side were denying it. But then later, Hezbollah had no other option but to accept that Hassan Nasrallah is no more. And later in the evening, Hezbollah came up with a release confirming the death of Hassan Nasrallah. So could be the same format would be followed this time around again, because IDF has an assessment, and IDF also tries to keep things transparent as far as their operation is concerned. So they have their teams which do the assessment of the damage and destruction caused by the strike, and the top commanders and the terrorists being killed in that strike. to you.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Siddhant. I would request you to stay on with us. Now, if at all this were in fact true that Hassan Nasrallah's intended successor, Hashem Safieddine, also has been killed by Israel, then we only wonder what is the kind of escalation that we are looking at towards Israel from the Iranian side, because we'd seen how Iran had in fact sent out ballistic missiles to Israel after the killing of Hassan Nasrallah. They in fact had spoken about how the strikes are only going to escalate if Israel doesn't really stop the pounding of Lebanon, or for that matter Gaza. Now, as the conflict rages on between Israel and Iran, new developments are now emerging. Sources are indicating that the Cabinet Committee on Security has discussed the escalating situation, particularly Israel's potential strike near the Russian airbase, to send out a message to Moscow as well. Russia has now condemned Israeli actions at the UN and ordered its citizens to leave Israel following the airstrikes near its base in Syria. Hezbollah is set to hold a ceremony for its chief, led by Iran's supreme leader, who will also preside over the Friday prayers in Tehran. We were just talking about how the Iranian foreign minister is in Israel for the same and for some other meetings. And it is in Lebanon, I beg your pardon. In fact, if you're talking about Lebanon, Israel's military is warning that over 20 towns should be evacuated, while the Lebanese army is reporting a soldier who has been killed in an Israeli strike. Meanwhile, Emirates Airlines has suspended flights to Iraq, Iran and Jordan due to the regional unrest, as the Lebanese health minister has reported nearly 2,000 casualties from Israeli attacks.
We're in discussion with that. I think that would be a little, anyway.
It seems Israel military thought that after having those explosions, bleepers and wireless without radio, communication devices twice, and so many killed, they thought that they had destroyed the command and control system of Hezbollah. They also convinced themselves they had destroyed a lot of weapons. Now, apparently that is not the case. Hezbollah is still a power to reckon with.
Let me take this across to my colleague Siddhant, who continues to be with us. Siddhant, there's too much of an escalation now that we're looking at. There are strikes and counter strikes. There was so much that was said by the Israeli authorities, post which there was a statement that was put out by Iran as well. Iran is steadfast in having people to believe that what they are doing is either targeting the military bases of Israel or Mossad particularly. What are you learning about the casualty figures in Israel when it's compared to Lebanon, for that matter, where the strikes by Israel currently are happening?
Well, look, Iran has its own claim when it comes to the barrage of ballistic missiles which Iran had sent to Israel the other day. They have their own assessment of the damage, and in fact their leading publications have come up with several sites where these Fateh 1, Fateh 2 missiles had done a damage. And in fact, Iranian publications also have to say that one of the air bases where F-15s were stationed have also got damaged. But Israeli side has to say that there has only been a very minimum damage as far as the Iranian strike is concerned, and none of the key installations have been affected. So that is what Israeli side have been saying. But very interesting development took place yesterday, and perhaps I would like to talk about that.
Yes.
Israel conducted airstrike near Russian air base in Syria,
yes,
and
absolutely.
the weapon depot was destroyed. Now, perhaps it cannot be seen, this incident cannot be taken casually, because usually in Middle East, Israel and Russia avoid coming face to face, or perhaps coming closer to each other on the battleground. But if this strike has taken place near Russian airbase, perhaps it is also being seen as Israel sending strong message to Russia, because from day one, if you remember, Russian position has always been in favor of Iran. In fact, Russian Prime Minister was in Iran one day